Hello students. Okay, so today we are continuing the same chapter number 10, international trade. So today we are going to understand what is incentives for export trade. A country has to import things to maintain the supply of inevitable items for the security of the nation and the economical development. Imported products and services have to be paid in the form of foreign exchange. Export has to be made in order to gain foreign exchange and for the stability and security of economy. In this situation, every country provide incentives for trade export. Any incentive provided to the exporters who export the products of high quality at cheaper rate and make it available there when it is demanded in their country and export them to the importers is called as an incentive for the export trade. Usually, government is responsible to provide export incentives. The government perform as a media for providing incentives. Now, first of all, you need to understand that what is the meaning of incentives. You must have heard that if a person is doing a job in a particular company, so they are getting incentives. And for what purpose they are getting incentives? Because they performed well in their job, they perform well in their company. So, as an appraisal or for the appreciation or for to encourage the person, they are giving incentives, that is called an extra income. Okay, so here in the export trade, when a country is exporting goods to a particular nation and fulfilling their demands whenever they needed, or they whenever they are asking for the goods, they are providing the goods on time. So for this service to provide them the particular goods on time, they are paying incentives, and generally government of the other country is paying this kind of incentives to the export countries. Now, there are different media of export incentives. First one is the trade agreements. Next is financial and economic encouragement reward, collective and systematic economic encouragement, financial facilities and services, non-economic facilities, special economic zone, export processing zone, and so let's see the first one, trade agreements. Export is encouraged by means of trade agreement. These trade agreements are made by the medium of the politicians who are politically favorable to each other. As per trade agreements, one or more countries import products or services or give it a priority. So, between two political parties of the countries, agreement has been made. Those political parties which are favorable to each other, and they are exporting the goods and importing the goods as per the agreements. The second one is the financial economic encouragement reward. Export encouragement is provided by means of financial and economical encouragement. This medium has been widely used for a long time. So this kind of and this financial economical encouragement has been widely used from the long time as per this scheme to give direct reward to the exporter at predetermined rate, no collection or less collection of sales tax and excise duty on exported product, to give full or partial exemption in the income tax or export income. Encouragement is given by providing the raw material, other equipments and electricity at the lower rate to the products for export. Now what's happening in the form of incentives, they are paying so many things. So for example, in the first case they are giving direct reward to the exporter, means by paying extra amount or by paying foreign currency, whatever the rate decided, they are paying extra amount. So that is called, they are paying direct reward to the exporter at predetermined rate. Then the next form of incentive is possible that they won't collect, or they will collect less sales tax or excise duty on the exported products, because the exporter has provided the goods on time and whenever they are required, the exporter is providing them products. So for by to encourage the export activities, they are paying extra amount or they are paying incentives in the forms of reducing the sales tax. Then the next one is to give full or partial exemptions in the income tax or export income. Now what is exemptions? Exemptions mean they don't need to pay the income tax. So full or partial means fully income tax were exempted or partially income tax were exempted. This can also be possible in the form of incentives. Then the next one is encouragement is given by providing the raw material, other equipments in electricity at lower rates to the products for export. So they are being encouraged to do the export activity more, as of they are giving encouragement by providing the raw material, then other equipments, then electricity at lower rates. Now number 3 is collective and systematic economic encouragement. Now in this scheme, the pre-decided amount or products are exported, then right of import is assigned up to the amount equivalent to the proportionate amount of foreign exchange earned. In return of export guarantee, the following encouragement are provided: allotment of land at subsidized rates to produce items for export purpose, benefit of establishment of factories, encouragement to establish factories in free trade zones which are free from taxes and other regulation on obligation to export total production or as per pre-decided ratio. Now this collective and systematic economic encouragement, what does the government do? They allotted the land at subsidized rate to produce items for export purposes. For export purposes, because they are importing goods from this country, so for export purposes they are allotting the land at subsidized rate. Subsidized rates mean they are lowering the subsidized rates are quite lower than the actual rates. Then benefit of establishment of factories, they also helps to establish the factories. uh, they are providing the shades, they are providing subsidy loans. So in this sense, government is providing incentives. Then encouragement to establish factories in free trade zones which are free from taxes and other regulation or on obligations to export the total production or as per pre-decided ratio. So government is also encouraging the factories to establish in free trade zones where which is free from taxes, but taxes are exempted fully or partially. Then come to the next point, that is financial facilities and services. So here export encouragements are provided by means of financial facilities and services, as much as the one is to make arrangement for the exporter to get the billing amount on the same day when they export the goods. So they have been made the arrangement to the exporter that whatever the amount of billing is there, they will get the on the same day when they are exporting the products. Then they have been provided the protection against the fluctuation in exchange rate. Sometimes it happens that dollar value of the dollar is increasing and decreasing, so that is called fluctuation in exchange rates. Then to make arrangement for the importer to receive the goods easily, whoever the importer is there, so he can easily receive his goods. There is no need to follow the long procedure, or he may not be face any problems while receiving the goods. So this in this way encouragement to export can be possible. Then to provide services as the guarantor of the importer after assessing the financial soundness of the importer. So why we are doing this export? So we are doing this export to generate our income, to maintain the stability of foreign exchange. That's why we are that's why our government is continuously encouraging the export and paying the incentives to the exporter, as of they are contributing to the foreign exchange. Let's move to the next point, that is non-economic facilities. Encouragement is provided by means of non-economic facilities instead of direct economic aid to the exporters. Then the next one is the special economic zone. A law about special economic zone was passed in the parliament in the year 2005 and was implemented from 10th February 2006. Now, here, special economic zone is such a geographical area where the economic laws of the country are more liberal. Means this is a place, this is a location where government is allowing, means government is providing a full liberty to the factories who are producing the exporting goods. They are called export processing zone. They are called free trade zone. They are called free ports and industrial zones. The main aim of this is to attract domestic and direct foreign capital investments. Now, let us understand what is export processing zone. So, the government of India has established export processing zone in different areas of the country in order to encourage export trade. It is an attempt to obtain foreign exchange on large scale by way of export promotion. Export processing zone and free trade zone are synonyms to each other. Under the policy declared by the government of India, free trade zones have been established at different places like Kandla, Santa Cruz, Falta, Noida, Cochin, Chennai, Vishakhapatnam, Kosindra near Dwarka and Dahej near Bharuch. Okay, so this export processing zone is the location where the government of India has established in different areas of the country. So the export trade is being encouraged. Now, as the export trade will be encouraged, we will get more foreign exchange. So this is an attempt to get a large scale foreign exchange by way of export promotion. So where are these export zone is located? So they are located in Kandla, Santa Cruz, Falta, Noida, Cochin, Chennai, Vishakhapatnam, Kosindra near Dwarka and Dahej near Bharuch. Now in these zones, excise duty, regulations of financial transactions inside the country for and foreign country, and some labor laws are quite liberal in order to exchange the encourage the exports. So government has made some laws very liberal in this particular areas, and assurance are also given for the primary facilities such as roads, electricity, water supply, communication facilities, and continuous supply of high quality of raw materials in order to run the industries in such zones. So to encourage these industries, so all the basic facilities are also provided them at priority. Then government also provide the latest and various information about the exports of the exports to the exporter of the export processing zone. They are being updated by the government at a particular interval of time, that what is going on in the market. So they would understood all the rules and regulations relating to exports. Now information are also provided related to the position of the markets of the different products in the foreign country, political situation for export, available transport facilities, etc. So they will become more alert about all the updates. Now import, let us understand the import procedure. Now international trade means the trade of import and export. When goods are sent to the foreign countries from India, it is called export for India, and when goods are bought from foreign country, it is called import for India. Now let us understand the process of import. uh, so, following is given the points. The first one is the obtaining import license. If the importer wants to import the goods listed in the list of the required items and services published by the government, he has to obtain an open general license, that is called OGL, which is easier. But if the importer wants to import the goods excluded from the list, he has to apply to comptroller of import trade. In this application, name of the importer, address, details of the goods, economic condition of the importer, name of exporting country, etc. are mentioned. If the officer is satisfied with the details of the application, then only he issues the import license. If the quota method is prevailing, the importer is given a quota certificate describing the fixed quota. Okay. Now for obtaining the import license, the importer has to give an application only if whatever the goods he wants to import is not in the list Okay, so that at that time only he has to write an application, and in that application he has to mention all the details like address, details of the goods, economic condition of the importer, then name of the exporting country. All these details has to be mentioned in the application, and if the officer is satisfied with the details, he will issue the import license. Now the next point is that obtaining foreign exchange. When the goods are to be imported from a foreign country, the payment has to be made in foreign currency or exchange. Okay, so Reserve Bank of India has control over foreign exchange. First, an application is to be sent to the bank permitted by the government for foreign exchange trade before applying the Reserve Bank of India. The bank makes an endorsement on the application form of the importer on the basis of import license. Then the Reserve Bank sanctions the foreign exchange in the application form, how much foreign currency is required and of which country is to be shown in US dollars. So whenever the goods are imported from foreign country, the payment has to be made in the foreign currency. So the Reserve Bank of India has control over this foreign exchange. So whoever the importer is there, he has to first write an application and has to send to the bank, and it should be permitted by the government of foreign exchange trade before applying this to the Reserve Bank of India. So bank makes this checks this application form of the importer, and on the basis of the license, and then Reserve Bank sanctions the foreign exchange, and in the application form how much foreign currency he needed, he has to mention that in US dollars. Then let's see the third point.